Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Shangri-La Frontier, episode 23, the penultimate one. Alas, the show's coming to an end, slowly but surely, with the certainty of... I don't know, I wanted to pick something from Shangri-La, but I just kind of blanked on it. Yes, unfortunately. Everything good comes to an end, and particularly in case of Shangri-La, it kind of feels odd to me that this show, this season at least, is ending, right? Because, well, first of all, Weathermon fight was that big thing, right? That was essentially finale worthy, and yet that wasn't the finale. So probably something else will be there, and I somehow don't think it's going to top the Weathermon fight, so we'll see. And also, I guess the fact that it's not really going to end on any particular arc, far as I can tell, unless the finale will be, I don't know, getting the magic unit for B. But that's not really that hype of a finale, is it? We'll see, of course. But yeah, shows usually end on the end of an arc of some sort. Then again, those shows usually have a singular, overarching narrative, which Shangri-La does not. It has many. It has plenty. I don't know, this show just feels to me like it's just in the middle of the season right now, or I could have at least another 24, or ideally, you know what this show feels like to me? Like the shows that used to run on a weekly basis without any like seasons or anything, right? Week after week after week after week, you would get 80 episodes of Beelzebub, for example, or Bleach, or whatever else, right? It kind of feels that way to me. I don't know. It's weird. Regardless of that, this is the penultimate episode, so we will probably fight someone. We will probably fight the Scorpion that was teased in the previous episode. In the previous episode, though, what happened was that we set off, and by we I mean Sanraku, Emul, and Beam set off on an adventure to find the something magic unit that B needs to evolve, to raise into the ranks of what's it called? Ancient craftsman? Yeah, ancient craftsman. So, ancient? I think so, maybe. I'm not sure right now. She needs to she needs it to raise in the ranks, and we need that for her to fix the thingamajig that's needed to run the weapons and armor and stuff from the inventoria. That's the plot right now. B knows where to get that stuff, so that's where we're going, and she's coming with as Sanraku's fur coat. Because of course, because they're a family, so of course they share the same method of camouflage. I'm only left wondering what part of Sanraku's wear would Visage be. He's kinda too big for that. I don't know, he could be a mount, I guess, maybe. On the way, we visited a couple of cities for something, to aid something, I believe. They weren't going in like order, but just skipped some. And we're also going through the plains where Visage sent Sanraku to find the like delta thingamajigs that are needed for progression. Yeah, for the progression of the Rapidusa quest. So we are potentially killing two birds with one stone. We'll see how that goes. Anything can happen, really. And in those plains of despair, or another dark term that was used for it, we fought a Dullahan. B showed her fighting aptitude, and it's quite an aptitude. She's very high level, much higher than Sanraku, and she wields a hammer. Cool. They found a sword that is, the sword dropped from a Dullahan, It's a old, beaten-up sword, but B claims that she can fix it. And Sanraku will probably need a sword because I believe the Weathermon techniques that he wants to learn require one. So it would be nice to have one, in case that he learns the Weathermon skills. He has a sword, of course, already, the one that was left from Towa, from Pencilgon. But I don't think he would like to use it, because it looks very cursed. So we'll see what happens with that sword. He will probably return it, unless, of course, he finds some use for it. And and in the background we could see a scorpion skittering about, so I would assume this is the area boss that they will have to defeat to progress further. And that's where we ended up, and that's where we will be continuing from in this episode. And to do that, you will need your subs, of course, to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show. And I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below, or not share my content, spread the word. It costs you nothing and helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching episode 23, the penultimate one of Shangri-La Frontier, in 3, 2, 1, and go. Starting with the OP. I don't mind at all. I'm gonna miss it. Season 2 when? Please, I beg of you, Season 2 when? Frieren and Shangri-La Frontier. I hope both of them get a second season on the same season. That would be amazing. It would be amazing if I could be watching Frieren Season 2 and Shangri-La Season 2 in like the same week. Perfect. So, yeah, hopefully. Apple cinnamon tea. Oh, by the way, I learned that one of the MMOs that I played as a kid, teen, whatever, is getting a sequel. Vindictus. It was Vindictus, now it's Vindictus with some subtitle. I don't know. It's made by Nexon, but the previous one, the first one, was also made by Nexon, so there's not going to be a change in the studio. We'll see how that goes, but I'm kind of excited. A recap? A recap. Forfolkshire, right. Magic Operations Unit. Bird versus rabbits. Bird with rabbits versus skeletal choir. Famous last words. Yeah. And are they both clinging to him? Of course they are. Right. Also the aura. Exactly. I mean, it's better than using the holy water, right? Oh, and we got a bunny blaster in the previous episode. That was also very important. Might not be a bad idea, actually. Are the ancient souls? Ah, yeah, so that's what we've seen. Sounds like a challenge. Yeah, one actually saw us, so... Mm-hmm. Are we gonna have to fight the scorpions? He could really use a mount, couldn't he? Are there even mounts in this game? I don't think I've seen anybody use a mount. Huh. Huh. I wonder. Could be interesting if there were just no mounts in this game. You're supposed to go everywhere on foot. You're supposed to, you know, whatchamacallit, explore, right? Easy mode. Until the scorpions show up, of course. Inevitably. And what is that? Area boss? Ever since I learned that Emul and other NPCs can die, I'm really nervous whenever Sanraku brings them into a fight. I really am. Because they're just important enough for their death to hurt, and not important enough to influence the story in like a particularly huge way, right? It really puts them in the danger zone. B also wants to fight. A random undead. Humming Lich, okay. It's got nothing on Weathermon though, so probably a breeze. Or fairly easy at least. That thing's immaterial, probably, yeah. Huh. Do you have one? Could holy water do? Could you like dip your daggers in holy water? Maybe. Yeah, you have no way of defeating it. Does B have a holy weapon? Or can she forge a holy weapon? She can forge a holy weapon. With the sword they got from the Dullahan and some holy water, I would assume. Those are jaws. That's a nice looking staff. Bunny Blaster. Oh, she knows some holy magic? Much better. Monocle, of course. Latching onto his arm. Is that holy attribute? Or can all kinds of magic harm it? Or at least hit it? Yep, holy water and the Dullahan sword. Sharpening it on a holy stone, essentially, huh? It's good to have a blacksmith in a party, isn't it? Yeah, fair. Does it deal any damage, though? A duplicate? Triplicate? Or just floating heads? A lot of them, though. And more than... yeah, just... okay. That's a lot of them. Yeah. Oh. That would mean you passed some sort of a threshold? Health threshold? Time threshold? Something that triggered the second phase. Holy sword. Or holy water sword, at least. Is it a permanent change or a temporary buff? And 7 enemies. I mean, that's perfect. And it's a challenge. Exactly what Sanraku likes. Exactly. Now, problem is, his life isn't the only life at stake here, right? He can always resurrect the bunny scant. That's actually a cool way to bring tension into a fight, isn't it? Actually, if you kill the original Lich, do the others just die? They can hurt each other. Okay, so attack the main body. Or destroy the clones and the main body dies. That's a cool effect. Destruction? Or... And where's B? Okay, just a lot of buffs. Yep. Ranged enemies go first. Increase damage against heads. Yeah. Or increase decapitation damage. Exactly. Seven strikes left. 6 enemies. Yeah. Right, so 5 more enemies now, 5 minutes. And what's B's role in all of that? Colossus? Now that's a new name, I'm assuming, for unique monsters. Only the main body. And 2 attacks. Another summoning? No. Oh, stagger it so it can't defend. And then a hit. Perfect. One more hit left. Oh, drive it deeper with the hammer. Right? Yep, absolutely. Pile driver, essentially. I love the trope of driving a weapon into an enemy and then driving it further with a hammer or with a fist or something like that. One of my favorite combat moves. Mm-hmm. Yep. uh, should have caught her. Is it broken? Okay. Doesn't seem irreparably broken, at least. Oh, what would the loot be? We don't know any shamans. Animalia? I guess Animalia might be a shaman. Yeah. He likes challenge, that's what. Eighthold. That's a lot of crystals. And people walking in a spot, not moving, but animating movement. So Rabituza doors can serve as fast travel, essentially. Okay, good. So we're not just beelining. That's good. And say less. Yeah, tentatively, but if we must. Oh, and the door opens straight into Bilak's forge. Not like there is anything like too reckless that Sanraku can get himself into, right? He's absolutely going back into the rooftops. He's absolutely going to fight the crystal thingamajigs. Those are some big carrots. Yeah, you just can't help but be curious, right? And I guess we have the answer as to what's gonna be the finale, right? We only have like a few minutes left. So I assume the finale will be the fight with the scorpions. Absolutely. Hmm. Wait, is it? Oh, it's 25 episodes, not 24. So we have two more. We have two more. Good, 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 good. All right, and I started this episode talking about penultimate episode and how I'm gonna miss it. I mean, I still am, absolutely am, but we get two more. Okay. I was about to question that we are going to essentially stop this season in the middle of an arc without any like conclusion, right? Because right now we are in the going for to find the thingamajigs that Bilak needs arc, and we still haven't found them. And the next episode is going to be fight with the scorpions, so we're probably not going to find it either, unless they drop it, which is not entirely out of question, of course. And that would mean that the next episode would not be the end of an arc, and 25 doesn't seem like late enough to end an arc either. So we would break this season? Sleep talking about carrots? About fighting. And carrots. Brother zoned. Yeah, give him the lap pillow. Oh, that's it. Okay. That was a short mini. I mean, they are minis after all, so to the surprise of no one. Let's watch it again, shall we? Yes, we shall. I'm just going to do... Oh. This. A little too dark. Yeah, I think that's better. It's morning, so, you know, the rising sun just changes the lighting in my room, so I have to adjust every so often. Regardless. OP. Recap. And yeah, Sanraku's mark is like the perfect substitute to holy water. Would you rather spend money on holy water or just carry the bunnies around? It's not like you have any like weight. I don't think he has any weight stat, right? Like him carrying those bunnies versus not carrying them doesn't change things, I don't think. Maybe it does, I don't know. Maybe he gets slower or tires easier. Do you even tire? Do you even get tired in the game? I don't know. Half naked with a bird head walking through miasma with rabbits on my shoulders. Yeah. Exactly. And on top of the mist there are crystal scorpions, and the moment he hears that there are strong enemies atop of the rocks or whatever it is, he already made his mind. I wonder what the drop is going to be. Probably something significant, right? The crystal scorpions were hyped up pretty significantly, so I would say the drop is going to be decently significant. Maybe something like, probably not the magic unit that B needs, but something that might forge a holy weapon, maybe? Maybe just a lot of money. Right. Area boss. We don't often see faces stylized in this style in the show, I noticed, so it's nice to see a face like this. Like, we see plenty of stylized faces, just not plenty stylized in this particular way, which is somehow unique. Somewhat unique, I guess. And also the difference between Emul just being scared and Sanraku and B both being like, bring it on. Yeah, it's a great contrast between their faces. That's what we're after, Humming Lich. Alas, you cannot harm it with regular weapons, which is an interesting limitation. Interesting mechanic in that it can actually bring you to a stalemate. Like, if you go into this battle unprepared, you genuinely only have the option to... Can you run away from this encounter? I don't think so. Because if they could, they would have, I assume. But if you cannot run, your only choice is probably to just give up, die, get resurrected in the town, get a holy weapon, and go back to fight. Interesting. Usually, when an enemy has an elemental weakness that is required to defeat it, it's not that the enemy is completely resistant to other forms of damage, but rather that enemy is very, very resistant. Has something like, I don't know, 99% resistance, for example, right? Something in that ballpark. Not 100% resistance, though. Interesting. Interesting, like, just purely from a gameplay mechanic. Also interesting that magic can hit it, but not deal damage. I don't think Emul's attacks dealt any damage here. It's the source of the miasma in the canyon. Is it only lore, just flavor text, or when you defeat it, does miasma go away until the boss respawns? I wonder. having a blacksmith in the party, invaluable. I remember playing Sacred a lot, which is a game that I will have to revisit one day because I completed Sacred, the base game, but I never completed the DLC or the expansion as they were called back in the days. And I had an amazing character, a battle mage that I beat the base game with, and I lost that save. And now I'm gonna have to beat the full game and then the expansion. Like, I could start at the expansion, but where's the fun in that, right? Using a pre-made character. Regardless, in that game, there's a character, a dwarf, that has blacksmithing abilities. And I always had like two characters, my main character and the blacksmith. And I would briefly go into LAN in like 2 instances of the game and trade between those characters and upgrade the items and move them back. Those were the days. Not an MMO, truth be told, but still, I'm gonna have to play Sacred one day, really. A rabbit gun turret palm. So it's just going to be the new move in the repertoire, it seems. And the gun runs on carrots, so, you know, fairly cheap ammo. Just to buy time, best defense is a good offense. This is a great moment. Like, you can see her just gearing up, and you can almost liken it to like an arm cannon in a game or in a movie or wherever, that you put your hand in it and it just right clicks around, moves, and attaches to your arm. Then it opens up, the barrel lights up, and this is basically it, but emul. Right? Monocle, eye goes wide, attaches to the arm, sets up the barrel. Warm up sound, starts glowing, and then shoots. And there's recoil. I really like the Bunny Blaster move. I really do. But yeah, interesting that magic is able to, if not hurt it, then at least impact it in some way, shape, or form. And yeah, B is using the Decapitator to create a holy weapon. Interesting that an undead weapon essentially can be turned into a holy one. I wonder, and I'm gonna note it down, just in case, Decapitator somehow becomes relevant, right? Because if it was just, oh, they found a Decapitator and they're gonna have to use it to create the holy weapon, and it's just going to break, right? Conveniently, it breaks after 8 hits, and there were 8 hits, so you'd think that the weapon goes away, but no. It stays. The weapon remains, so I wonder if it remains for a particular reason. Decapitator sword becomes relevant again. I wonder how. Well, first and foremost, I believe that Weathermon abilities require a sword. Easy. But I wonder if there's going to be something else, something more maybe about that Decapitator. Like, for example, I can clearly envision a mechanic existing in the game that makes the weapon stronger as you, I don't know, modify it and repair it and change it, right? Stuff like that. Like, you found a sword, a rusty sword, then you polish it up with holy water to a holy sword. Then it's on the verge of breaking again, so you fix it up into something else. And then it breaks again, and then you fix it up, and then you break again, and then it breaks again, and then you fix it up, and eventually it becomes like, I know, it gets unbreaking enchantment on it, or right, something like that. or the blacksmith masterpiece, or whatever other status, essentially, because instead of the blacksmith working on it once to change it, it gets that constant polish and constant changes. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, for sure. So I wonder if it's something like that. You ain't dead yet, buddy. She's probably talking to the sword right now. And yeah, clones. Rarely a fan mechanic. And yeah, polished with holy water, it will do the job for slicing up those reapers, but it's fragile and 8 hits. Question. What counts as... Actually, question retracted. I was about to ask what counts as a hit. But what counts as a hit is, of course, a hit. I kind of conflated it in my mind, hits with attacks. So I was about to ask, if you do a spin to win move, which counts as a single attack, does it count as one hit, or however many liches you hit? It probably counts for however many liches you hit, because it's about hits, not attacks. There we go. I explained it to myself. Chorus. I expected something else to happen here. I don't know. I expected maybe them to merge into one big monster, or summon more, or something like that. But they're not really doing anything with that. They're just, I don't know, emoting. The main body didn't take the damage, but it's still real. So there's that, like, mechanic where an attack can essentially inflict 0 damage on the enemy. Not inflict damage, but rather inflict 0 damage, where all of the effects of taking damage show up, but the health isn't reduced. Interesting. Didn't take damage, but still reeled, which creates an opening, which is later, of course, used. It reeled like that from one hit, suggests its HP is pretty low. I wouldn't be surprised if the HP was split across all of the enemies, right? This is a cool effect. Just showing the reflections in the sword as the sword tilts, right? I fully expected the whole scene to play out like that, and we see Bilak, then sword turns, Sanraku, sword turns, Emul, Bilak, Emul, Sanraku, right? Whole conversation in this style. But no, we just got a dialogue between Sanraku and Bilak. Also, great music. Now get to it, and she gets thrown. I love the expression on Emul's face here. Like, what are you doing to my sister? What's going on right now? And she's gonna be the ace in the hole, it seems. Ace in the hole? What? It's not even a saying. Ace in a hole. No. Ace up the sleeve. That's the saying. Right? Or am I tripping? And yeah, that's much better. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna leave automatic exposure. Automatic exposure is good, but when I do this, then the camera just has to, you know, right? It gets darker and lighter, but whatever, doesn't matter. Blast the other out of the way with your magic edge. Right, we know magic edge can hit for 0 HP. I know, that's still a question. And we had some effects of the buff shown on the screen. And I would like to read them. Yeah, okay. Now we see the buffs. Or maybe later. There we go. Overheat. Can only activate 10 minutes after combat starts, adds a bonus to all stats for 5 minutes, but halves all stats after that. Essentially, you need to survive long enough to be able to use it, and it better be enough to finish the fight. Interesting. I really like the fact that pretty much all of his skills, or at least most of his buffs, have some sort of a trade-off. Right? Time to use 1 second. In exchange for taking 20% of max HP damage, increases strength and agility. Again, a trade-off. Which is actually, like, perfect for a glass cannon, like Sanraku, right? He doesn't care about HP because chances are that he just dies in 1 hit. But he essentially uses HP as a resource and treats every single run as a no-hit run. The skill's real value isn't in its buffs, it's in removing your health, which causes climax boost to trigger. Yeah, a ton of buffs, strong hits, don't get hit. Perfect playstyle. Starting with the archer, again, also my preference. I hate archers. I always go after archers first, or any sort of ranged enemy. In Sacred, it was flying, ranged, melee. That was my order, because the flying enemies were the most annoying, because they were flying, and you were on the ground, and being able to hit them as a melee character, not easy, tell ya what. And the Decapitator deals even more damage to the heads, essentially just stacking as much damage, as much buffs, as many effects as possible to deal as much damage in a single hit as possible. Cool. Cool. 7 attacks, 6 enemies. Easy enough. This is cool. This is cool that B never saw Sanraku in action. She maybe heard Emul's stories, but I would assume she was very dismissive of them, right? Because, oh, a bird man, it's like whatever, he goes around half naked. She's probably exaggerating, which she might have, right? But now B has first row seats watching Sanraku work. And it's a shock. What? This birdman that I dismissed as just a random birdman, he can dodge all of that? Counter all of that? Shit. Maybe it wasn't just a stroke of luck that he defeated Weathermon. Maybe it wasn't just his allies. Maybe he actually can do that. Cool. And she's down for his plan because now she has trust in that plan, right? Cool. Yeah, I really like this little almost hidden bit of relationship growth between Sanraku and Bilak. Cool shit. More. The main boat with the staff. Right, I was about to question why did he throw Emul now, but he threw her so that she can attack from behind to make the enemy staggers to create an opening so he can drive the sword in. Yeah, okay, everything makes sense now. Finishing it off, magic edge, stagger, opening, glowing pierce, straight into the lower jaw area thing. Does it count? It probably counts as a head. Really cool impact frames here. Glowing pierce, driven in, not enough. And I love this trope. I love this move. Anywhere it happens, someone drives a weapon into the enemy, someone else drives it in further. It's just cool. I just really find it cool. I guess I just like combination attacks in general. I loved this, I love this, I love the bunny blaster. I know, it's just fun. It's just like pure rule of cool, essentially. And also, Sanraku gives additional speed, then B swings the hammer additionally. Amazing expressions. Material focus into Fortress Breaker. Yeah, amazing. I love it. This is finale worthy, you know? This is actually finale worthy. But alas, not the finale. And the sword flies even further. The rabbit pile bunker did the job. Yeah, Cats and Pencil Gun did the same with Kirin, and I guess Sanraku is truly my spirit animal because he also really wanted to try it. This is amazing. That Emul hitting him just dealt damage. And the sword still holds up, which really tells me that there's gonna be something to it. Because it could have just shattered, right? And I wouldn't bat an eye. I really wouldn't bat an eye. They found a sword. How convenient. Then they were able to forge it into a holy weapon. Cool. And then it just disappeared, which kind of resets us back to the status quo from before finding it. Which is a very common thing in anime, resetting back to status quo. But no. The sword sticks around. And I believe it is for a reason. I just don't know that reason quite yet. Loot. Grudge bone fragment. A hideous bone fragment soaked to its marrow with hatred. Has various shamanistic uses. Its grudge cannot be alleviated because the nature of grudges is to be indiscriminate. I wonder if this will be relevant somehow. Could we perhaps forge a dark attribute weapon out of it? Or could we perhaps trade it to a shaman character for something? I don't know rightly who would be a shaman character here. Not Pencil Gun. Not Katsu. Katsu is a monk. I guess close enough? Probably not. The only character that comes to mind would genuinely just be Animalia. Maybe Elke, right? Emul's sister, she kinda looks shaman-ish. She's probably just a merchant. Yeah, I don't know, no shamans come to mind. We'll see, of course. The folks started lifting, and oh, I can see the rooftops. I could jump there right about now. I wonder how strong the scorpions are. Yeah, he's absolutely thinking something terribly wicked. Absolutely 100%. And we are back. Not back. We are to Eighthold. In Eighthold. Crystal elements here. Crystal scorpions. Nice connection there. That's a beautiful city. I gotta say. Where were the people running in place? Here. On the left. Those two characters. See? They're walking in place. I wonder if it's an animation error. Could very well be. Or is it them just lagging? Could also be. Could genuinely just be them lagging. Register landmark. Interesting. Another benefit of Rabituza, isn't it? I don't rightly know how fast travel works in this game. Does it even exist? That's also a good question. But in case it doesn't, or in case it costs money perhaps, another benefit of Rabituza quest would be that you have access to Rabituza and it's essentially your world hub. From Rabituza you can go to any other city. And you can get into Rabituza from any other city. As long as Emul is with you. So, I wonder if Sanraku were to now travel alone to, say, Third Rima, would Emul be able to find him? That's a good question. Or would she just be looking through all of the cities on her own? They should probably figure out a way of, like, finding each other, shouldn't they? Emul is way too precious for Sanraku, and Sanraku is way too precious for Emul to risk potentially splitting up and not finding each other. What's the next move? Heading back to Rabituza, fixing the Decapitator, and Emul also should go there. And right, and Sanraku will just look around the city. Nothing less, nothing more. Another amazing expression. And yeah, carrots solve everything. You will not be reckless. Yeah, here's the thing. Sanraku can allow himself to be reckless. He's the player character. He can always resurrect. So he can be as reckless as he wants. NPCs cannot. So I can understand the apprehension. But the players, whatever. Just go to the tavern, register a bed as a spawn point, and just go and fight those crystal... not spiders. Scorpions. Of course. Human nature says when someone says don't do that, you totally do this. Do it. Absolutely. The forbidden fruit tastes the sweetest after all. This is cool. I like that he actually goes and buys the carrots, right? Priorities. He's not instantly rushing off to fight the scorpions. No. He promised Emul carrots twice already, so he's gonna buy her 2 big juicy carrots first, then scorpions. Priorities. And going back to climb and find the scorpions. This is a great, like, frame, amazing shading. I really like this, like, sketchy, liney shading. In general, not just in this case. And Emul sleep talks about carrots. Who would have guessed? She has the weirdest dreams about carrots. You can't do anything without me, just like my youngest brother. And I think she's actually gesturing for a lap pillow, which probably wouldn't work. Like, Sanraku could use Emul as a whole, as a pillow. He almost used B that way, basically used the B that way. But a lap, that's a little bit too small of a lap, isn't it? Cool. Cool. There we go. Oh boy. That was episode 23 of Shangri-La Frontier. Thankfully not the penultimate one. I was mistaken and I couldn't be happier. We have 2 more episodes ahead of us and I couldn't be happier about that. Great episode. A really cool fight. I love the combination moves. As I already said, that's really my weak spot. B is a really great character. I already liked her, and I'm growing to like her even more with every passing episode that she's a character in. Emul and Sanraku, I already loved them, and I continue to do that. No surprises there. Anything else? I don't think there's anything else to talk about, really. Because as good as this episode was, and it was good, it didn't really bring any particular huge changes to the story, changes to the status quo. We didn't really progress all that much, right? Like, another area was cleared, and we have access to another city, sure, but that's a given, basically. The sword, the decapitator, this entices me. I wonder what's going to happen to that. I really wonder if... Oh, that's actually a good idea. I wonder, could it be that when B becomes the ancient craftsman, she can take the decapitator, then the grudge bone that Sanraku got, and maybe like a crystal scorpion stinger or whatever, and turn that into an ancient weapon? Huh? That would be a nice test for whether she's able to actually forge weapons of that grade. That would give relevance to the decapitator, it would give relevance to the loot that Sanraku got, and it would make his an incursion. No, that's not a word. His adventure, let's just say, to fight the scorpions useful and relevant. He would be like, oh, it's a good thing after all that I went and fought them, right? And you told me not to, and I did, and it, I was right and you were wrong. I can absolutely see that happening. So I wonder. I also still do wonder about the finale, because I know that the next episode will not be the finale, but it still feels like 2 more episodes is too little to finish this arc. I had the same feelings with Frieren, but then they wrapped up the arc perfectly in just a single episode, so it works. It worked out there, but I cannot really see a way to wrap it up in Shangri-La that quickly. Unless perhaps we're going to take a shortcut in the vein of, actually, we can use the grudge bone and the crystal scorpion claw to create the magic unit, and we don't actually need to go all the way there to get it, because we can just craft it. Something like that, maybe, or maybe it just drops from the scorpions or something in that vein. Because the next episode will be the fight with the scorpions, unless the fight will be very quick. Sanraku climbs up, gets stabbed, and just falls down, and that's the end of it. 5 minutes, one and done. He goes back to the 8th hold, meets up with B and Emu. They travel where they need to go, and the final episode is the fight with the big boss and the drop of the magic unit. Could be that way. I don't know. We'll see. But even after acquiring the magic unit, it's still not the end of the arc. We still need to have B use it and get ranked up and make use of that rank up to fix the reactor and get the weapon, right? We still need to see that. So however you spin it, it really seems like we're gonna end it in the middle of an arc, which would heavily imply a 2nd season. Or maybe I'm just having hopium. Could very well be the case. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it. I don't think I have anything more to say, really. Amazing episode, as always. I'm used to it, really. It doesn't, No, every episode is still great. Of course. Really good episode. I enjoyed myself a lot. I love the bunnies. I said it time and again, and I'm gonna repeat it again. I was really wary of the rabbits. I really thought they're just gonna be mascot characters, especially when Emil was the only rabbit we knew. But no, they're much more than mascot characters and comic relief. They're actual proper characters that drive the story forward, and I couldn't be happier about that. I really like Emil, I really like B, I really like all the rabbits. Good shit. Bird and rabbits, the best combo. And I can't wait for the next episode. What else can I say, really? What else can I say, except that's gonna be it from me for today, but maybe you guys have something more to add on the topic, and if so, say so in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode, of my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? No spoilers, please. Spoilers, go to my Discord here, also in the description below. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to be notified of future releases, not only Shangri-La Frontier, but also Yuki Unai is a hero, Frieren, Majo Toyaju, Sasaki Topi-chan, Metallic Rouge, plenty others coming in the future. Click the bell to be notified when I go live, because I do go live sometimes. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, link down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Yuki Yuna, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. You can also support me directly on YouTube via memberships, super thanks, super chats, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you don't have to. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB, Without a Net, Group Survivor, Zaire and Absolution, UK Ally, Ishtamu, Marcos, and Dr. Wodaka, Master Marsh, Fassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to create a holy sword.